let other audience know the people join. I do actually welcome you to this particular session on the areas to coach the product owner and the Scrum Master in an agile engagement. So the reason I have selected this particular topic is whenever we are actually hearing the word coaching, right? People generally think that coaching should be done only to the agile team. And when you say agile team, yes, it is actually inclusive of your product owner and the Scrum Master, right? So in this particular session, we are now going to see if I want to coach the product owner, possibly what could be the potential areas to coach. And if I want to coach this, if I want to coach the Scrum Master, then possibly what are all the different areas wherein an agile coach can coach them. Okay. So in the meantime, when I start sharing my slides, if you have any specific questions or if you have any specific expectations from this particular thing, you can actually put it in the chat. When I actually toggle back to the to the chat, we can actually take up the questions one by one. Okay, so let me go ahead and then share my screen. Can someone confirm me in the chat? Are you actually able to see a PPT in front of you? I will actually put it in the slideshow, but then just wanted a confirmation. Okay, yes, good. Okay, all right. So to actually begin the session, this is a quick introduction about myself in terms of the years of experience in IT and in terms of the Agile and also in terms of my educational qualifications and the Agile certifications that I have. And I'm presently playing the role of an executive Agile coach and also heading the Agile transformation office. And like I have written multiple white papers on Agile, and I also participated in both the national level and the international level conferences in the past. And I also formulated or came up with an Agile mentorship program so as to expedite the career trajectory for aspirants who are interested in Agile. Okay, these are all some of the clients with whom I have worked in the past as a part of my corporate experience, and this is the framework what we have formulated for a Agile mentorship program, which I will cover it later. So what we'll do, we'll just go to the agenda. So in this particular thing, we are actually going to focus, okay, why this particular session is important, what is being expected from a product owner, and what is being expected from a Scrum Master, why actually coaching PO and Scrum Master is actually important, what could be some of the challenges from the audience. So I wanted the audience to put your challenges or your real-time challenges or your difficult situations or scenarios in the chat. No need to wait till the end of the session. Whenever we are taking a logical pause to come to the chat, I will actually pick up the questions one by one. And what could be some of the best practices and my Agile mentorship program, and most importantly, how to take your learning from here probably to the next level, and we can have a closure thoughts and then wrap it up. Okay. So why this session is important? This session is important because even product owner and Scrum Master needs continuous coaching if they want to provide sustained value, right? Because once in a while success, anyone can actually do it. But if I wanted to add continuous value to the team, then also the product owner and the Scrum Master need to be coached. In fact, if I want to say from the corporate thing, even team level, see, nowadays what happened, even the team level Agile coaches and the RTEs are actually coached by the enterprise Agile coaches. So even coaches need coaching, right? So before we get into the session, right, if you want to talk on the product owner, first we need to understand the role of the product owner. So product owner, as we all know, represents the business side of agility. Okay, so now the challenge is that in most of the engagements, this particular product owner will be from the client side. Okay, you may be working from a vendor for a particular client. It could be a banking client or a healthcare client or whosoever. And in most of the cases I have seen, this product owner will be a person from the client side. And so what happens now? Let us all be very practical in our approach. Whenever someone is in a client side, and if in case they are not doing proper justice or due justice to the role, it will be even become difficult to communicate it to the management, right? So that is why I say coaching product owner is of a paramount importance, because if product owner is not creating visibility on the horizon, then the team will be waiting for the work, and by the time the work comes to the team, like most likely it will be on the beginning day of the first no the first day of the iteration. And actually speaking, the team will be doing the planning there, which was supposed to be done proactively earlier, right? Because when you are supposed to execute, you actually need to execute the iteration. You actually should not do planning there. So creating continuous visibility on the product backlog is of a paramount importance. And unfortunately, if product owner is from a client side, you cannot escalate on your client, right? It makes commonsensical not to escalate on the client. So how do you handle such kind of a situation? So the way I have handled this, probably I have created a KRAs or KPIs when I was working as an enterprise agile coach, because currently I'm playing the role of an executive coach. But when I was working as an enterprise agile coach, I used to create the OKRs, KRAs, and the KPIs, and even for the product owners from the client side. So one of the KRA and the KPI which I used to put is maintain visibility on the product backlog horizon. So because it is a KRA, you are indirectly making people to follow it, right? So you need to think about, if some difficult situation comes, what is the workaround? Can I start thinking from a solution point of view rather than keep on brooding on the problem area, right? The second thing is this Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is actually a team level coach. If you go even by your certification details, yes, Scrum Master is actually a team level coach. So if your coach is being coached continuously, probably the team will also get a benefited, right? So coaching the Scrum Master is of a paramount importance. The next comes the enterprise agile coach should also know how to coach the RTEs. But okay, if you are taking SAFe as a framework, SAFe has a role called a release train engineer, RTE, which you can think as a lead Scrum Master or a program level coach. So RTE should also need to know how to coach the Scrum Masters. And for that, RTE need to be coached by the enterprise agile coach, right? So this is the context around the session. Okay, 1 minute. I just want to toggle back to see if things are okay and fine. All right, fine. So let me go back to the next slide. Okay, now we are actually getting into the crux of the session. What is being expected from a product owner? Okay, so you people can also put your thoughts in the chat parallelly. Okay, what are the things you are expecting from your product owner? If I have missed out any points here, no need to repeat the same points. Okay, just to optimize the time. Now the point is like this: product owner is the business value maximizer who is actually representing the voice of the customer, right? Because product owner, it is only through the product owner the work is being given to the team. Yes, conceptually Agile says work actually should not be pushed to the team. Work need to be pulled by the team. That's okay. In an ideal world situation, in the perfect state of existence, all these lines make more relevance. But what happens in a real-time situation? Most of the time, the work is given to the team. By whom? By the product owner. So product owner need to be very clear on the priorities. Okay, so I actually generally used to tell my Scrum Master and the team, you guys need to focus on how to get the things done. No need to worry on what you need to work. What you need to work should come from the product owner and from the product management group. Of course, based on your experience, you can also give your suggestions, but the primary ownership, the responsibility, accountability in terms of creating visibility on the work should be from the product owner, right? And the Scrum Master could be a process facilitator to actually get the things done in a seamless manner, and the team need to focus on the core work. Now, sometimes product owners will not be able to understand the enablers. Product owners will not be able to understand what do you mean by an architectural runway. So it is the responsibility of an agile coach to coach the product owners on your spike user stories, your enablers, your architectural runway. For example, creating a REST API service call. Okay, and without creating a REST API service call, I cannot deploy some other business centric features. So though this particular REST API service call is not going to give business value in itself, without the existence or presence of this particular API service call, I cannot deploy my business centric feature. So product owners should also understand the importance of enablers, technical spikes, architecture runways, but it is the responsibility of the agile coach to coach the product owner, right? So I have put that line. And also need to understand some amount of lean governance in terms of requirements management. Okay, some people tell, if you go by the purist definition of agile, sometimes governance could be taken as a heavy word, and people say that agile is self driven. Why do we need to have a governance? But then the other school of thought says, when there is a continuous churn rate in the requirements in the middle of the iteration, it is going to disrupt the goal of the iteration. The sprint or iteration, you can actually interchange the words. Okay, so whenever there is a requirement change in the middle of the iteration, how am I going to entertain the requirement change? For that, you need to have a lean governance, right? So these are also the things which a product owner need to know, and it is a responsibility of a coach to coach them. And product owner should create backlog visibility and also need to understand requirements clarity index, requirements volatility index, requirements sustainability index. Now the challenge is, if your agile coach doesn't know how to quantify requirements clarity, then how that agile coach can coach your product owner? You cannot give someone what you don't have, right? So it is a responsibility of the agile coach also to continuously learn. What do you mean by requirements clarity? If I have a requirement, if I'm giving a connotation of 1 to 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, for example, if there is a definition of ready, if there is a definition of done, the user story is properly sized, then the story is properly parented to your feature, the story has an acceptance criteria, everything is there, then probably the requirements clarity index for that story can be given as a 5. Like that, you may need to create connotations. When I say you can think yourself as an agile coach here. Okay, it is a responsibility of the agile coach or the scrum master also to coach the product owner on all these aspects, and some kind of a prioritization technique, right? For example, says weighted shortest job first. So product owner should also be aware of what do you mean by a definition of ready, what do you mean by definition of done, what is the difference between definition of done and acceptance criteria, what are all the techniques which are available in the market to do the prioritization, and how to vertically slice a user story. For example, you can take a inverse technique, right? Independent, negotiable, valuable, estimatable, small or sizable. You can interchange it, small or sizable, followed by testable. Or you can take a deep technique, detailed, estimated, emergent, prioritized. Some technique or guidelines should be there to vertically slice a user story, and you maintain a 3 months rolling wave backlog. And the coach should also give some kind of sessions or training to product owner on how to, like, facilitating a product discovery workshop, understanding minimum viable product, understanding the concepts of design thinking. So here I have shared a link. In this link, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy paste this link in the chat, okay, so that people can save it for future reference. And in this video, I have actually explained what are all the different areas which a product owner need to be coached. Okay, so as and when we are pinging something in the chat, if you feel as important, you can probably copy paste it in your notepad. Yes, Jiva is asking a question. Can product owner decide on epic, sub-epic features? Please advise. Yes, but we need to understand one thing. Product owner is not actually deciding on epic, sub-epic feature. Product owner is deciding on the product roadmap priorities, and your epic or sub-epic happens to be the building block of it, right? Because your product roadmap is going to contain initiatives which can be practically translated into consumable epics or sub-epics or features, because a sub-epic is a term used in the rally, And when you decompose a sub-epic, it is going to become a feature. So in that way, yes, but product owner is not sometimes not really deciding on the feature boundary, but product owner will talk more on the functionality. What are all the objectives which I need from a product road mapping priority? But when it is translated into consumable action item from a tool perspective, it could be Jira, Rally, version 1, it is translated into epic, sub-epic features. From that angle, yes. Okay, so we'll keep continuing the slides. 1 minute. Okay, so we have touched upon the product owner. Now we will move to the Scrum Master. Okay, so what is expected from a Scrum Master? Generally, Scrum Master is expected to facilitate the ceremonies, asking powerful questions, or rather open-ended questions, and start looking into the business outcomes. And Scrum Master should be good in tracking the impediments and also solving the impediments. Why? Because if the Scrum Master solves the impediment, probably the team can focus on the core work, right? So Scrum Master plays the role of an impediment removal or improvement enabler. If you go by Lisa Atkins' book, she somewhere it clearly says Scrum Master is an impediment removing person. Scrum Master is an improvement enabler. And see, it's a very powerful word. Improvement enabler means person who is enabling you to improve. And Lisa Atkins also says collaboration conductor. So these are all some of the words. When you hear those words, you can resonate what is expected from a Scrum Master. Okay, so I have here put my own thoughts or perspectives, and proactively calling out the risk, and also facilitate and working together with the team on the right metrics and the dashboards. See, of course, it is a team's responsibility to create the metrics. But if the team has challenges to understand what metrics, then definitely Scrum Master need to coach both the product owner and the team on the right metrics. If the Scrum Master doesn't have the competency or the capability, Scrum Master is expected to talk to the Agile coach and then get the competency or capabilities. Okay. So in terms of the dependency management and also giving proactive heads up, in terms of compliance activity, yes, product owner also has a responsibility, but then Scrum Master should ask some powerful questions in a proactive manner to the product owner and the team. Hey, do we foresee any compliance activities that need to be completed within this particular sprint or within this particular release? So asking that powerful questions at the right time is one of the responsibility of a Scrum Master. And coaching the product owner on enablers, minimum viable product, minimum marketable feature, minimum marketable release, and the spike user stories. And this line is very important. Co-creating an Agile transformation roadmap. See, last week we have taken a session, right, on how to create an Agile transformation roadmap. Probably you can take some references from there. If your transformation roadmap is being created, then probably you can deduce a coaching plan from that for your continuous improvement journey. So if someone asks me, can you tell what is the responsibility of a Scrum Master in a one line? My answer is Scrum Master is a person who is going to put the team on the path of a continuous improvement. Now, what is continuous improvement? That is going to differ based on the context. That is going to differ based on the team to team. Even for the same team, what is continuous improvement is going to differ from release to release, right? But Scrum Master is a person who is going to put the team on the path of continuous improvement, because continuous improvement and growth mindset goes hand in hand. You cannot have a growth mindset if you don't have continuous improvement, and you cannot have continuous improvement if you don't have the growth mindset, right? So putting the team on the making the team to embark on the journey of continuous improvement is one of the paramount responsibility of a Scrum Master. And probably if you take me, when I was working as a Scrum Master many years back, I used to partner with my team to create some defect management guidelines and some kind of a technical debt remediation plan and software craftsmanship. Now a question may come from some of the audiences. Does a Scrum Master need to be a very technical person? My answer to the question is, you are not having one answer to the question, because see, for example, if you take your Agile coaching competency framework, it clearly says One of the area is a technical coaching, which is called software craftsmanship role. So a process coach is someone different from a technical coach. Okay. And coach and a scrum master, you can try to interrelate the words depending upon the magnanimity of the landscape, right? So sometimes I have worked in some engagements where we have it, where we have technical scrum masters who will also do some amount of process anchoring, but also lead the team from a technical point of view. Whether it is as per the Scrum guide or not, that is a different question. But if the context demands, organizations will write JD in that manner only. So we cannot tell it is wrong. So at least a Scrum Master should speak the language. See, for example, if a Scrum Master is having a conversation with a system architect or a solution architect or having some discussion, if the Scrum Master is not able to understand what is continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous testing, if the person is not even able to speak the language, point number one, it will be difficult to drive the show. Point number two, people will not respect, right? Because what is that I have seen is sometimes people have some challenges in terms of understanding the language. So at least a Scrum Master should be able to echo the language, at least need to understand the fundamentals of the landscape and fundamentals of the technicalities. I'm not expecting a Scrum Master to sit and write a code on your Jenkins pipeline, but Scrum Master should not ask back, what do you mean by Jenkins pipeline, right? So from that angle, Scrum Master should speak the vocabulary of the ecosystem, the product ecosystem or the project landscape. So these two links or videos, what I have made in terms of creating a coaching plan, or in terms of what are all the areas which a Scrum Master need to be coached. So I'll just put it in the chat. One second. Okay. So the first link what I pinged some time back is more on coaching the product owner. These two links, the second and the third link, is more on creating a coaching plan, or rather co-creating a coaching plan. Okay, I'll just come closer to the laptop. 1 minute. My signal seems to be good only. Okay, like in terms of co-creating the coaching plan, and then what are all the areas where a Scrum Master need to focus. So if you go through these three links, I am pretty much sure that you can understand it in a much more comprehensive manner. What is that I am actually trying to tell? Now we will toggle back to the slides in the interest of time. Okay, so what I'll do now, why don't we take a pause here? Okay, why don't we take a pause here and then have some few questions from you people? Like I wanted to spend some. Okay, see now the thing is, I will be able to see the chat only on the creator portal, and probably if you people have some questions which you are posting it on LinkedIn or something, maybe like I will try to take a look offline, or you can ping me on my WhatsApp number, which I'll be sharing it later. So now you need to see, based on the two slides what we have discussed now, does it make more relevance hands-on, like in terms of coaching, your own product owner or your Scrum Master? Okay, you may need to tell me. Okay, so possibly these are all the areas, and then one more thing is, probably an agile coach can speak to the product owner and then ask some kind of a powerful questions like, okay, on top of the team level ceremonies, do we need any program level cadences, or rather any portfolio level ceremonies? Because unless and until your epic is ready, and unless and until your feature is ready, suddenly your user story will not come and sit in your product backlog, right? So many teams are actually struggling at a team level cadence. For one reason, they have not done the homework properly at a program level ceremonies and portfolio level ceremonies. Okay, so what did I mean by the program level ceremony is, see, it is not a PDF. The PPT will not be shared because it's part of my Agile mentorship program. but whenever I am actually viewing through the slides, if you want to take a snap on your mobile, or if you want to take a print screen, please feel free to do it. Okay. Program level cadences. Program level cadences means product owner sync up meeting, right? Product manager sync up meeting, ART sync up meeting, right? Okay, I'm just giving some of the examples. Feature backlog refinement, right? So these are all some of the program level cadences. Now, if your team or your team of teams start doing program level ceremonies, by the time they come to your team level ceremony like product backlog refinement, all the benefits would have flown and your backlog health index will be good. See, like in my past, I have seen many teams, they actually come to program increment planning, which we do in SAFE, no, which is also called as a big room planning. Many teams come to program increment planning, then try to understand about the feature. Absolutely no. It's a wrong way to do. Program increment planning is not to understand the feature. Program increment planning is a program level ceremony, as the name indicates, to discuss about the interdependencies between multiple teams, create clarity on the team level objectives for at least the first 2 sprint, and then talk about the Rome board, like in terms of the risk, resolved, owned, accepted, mitigated. If people come to program increment planning and then discuss the feature, that itself is a wrong pattern, and it shows that the readiness checklist is not been created or not been followed. That is where the responsibility of the RTE comes in. RTE need to coach the Scrum Masters and the product owners in terms of the readiness of the program increment. So can I have some hands raised or some ping? How many people had this particular challenge? Like now, how many people came inside a meeting like and then thought about creating visibility on the product backlog? Can we have some thoughts? Okay, Vivan says yes. Okay, but can we have some descriptive answers, like in some, not just a Boolean answer of yes or no? Okay, so what is that I am trying to say is, see, the point is like this. Many people was not aware what to do in PA planning as well, and the 2 days were confusing. Arundhati says that. Okay, see now, many people think that okay, the requirements has a problem because now we are into Agile. Now leave aside Agile, which is the common thing which I tell in my YouTube video. Even if you are executing a waterfall model, you need to be clear on the work, right? What are we going to do has nothing to do with the methodology of the software. What are we going to do has nothing to do with the framework. Whether you use Scrum or Kanban, DAD, Nexus, SAFe, Spotify, or your own customized Agile framework, what are we going to do? What is our priority has nothing to do with framework, nothing to do with the methodology of the software. Agile says, instead of maintaining a bulky documentation, why don't we have it in the form of a user story? Why? Because Agile takes a lean approach to the requirements also. Lean approach to requirements means, instead of maintaining bulky documentation, I take a user story writing approach using my COD conversation confirmation, which is called as a 3C, and that story also will evolve with more clarity as and when the cone of uncertainty comes down. That actually does not mean I will think about my requirements only on the first day of the iteration, which is an absolute wrong. In fact, if you look into references like Agile Onion Planning Model, Agile Onion Planning Model, if you try to Google or try to watch some YouTube video, it actually clearly says day-wise planning, your iteration level planning, and then your possibly release level planning, and then your product road mapping. Then you have your portfolio level priorities followed by your strategy, right? So why don't we just do a Google search right now? Agile Onion Planning, and just go to images. Don't waste time on reading the text. Just go to images and then click on any of the image. You see here, you have your day wise planning. That is what you are doing. That is what you are doing in your daily stand up meeting, right? What are we doing in your daily stand up meeting? Day wise planning has been done by and large, right? And then you have your sprint or a iteration level planning, and you can consider your program increment planning as an intermediate layer or a step between your sprint or iteration and between your release. But why am I doing the release? Because it is part of my quarterly priorities as part of my product roadmap. Fine, but why am I funding this particular product? Because by doing this particular project or building this particular product, it is going to give some benefit to my portfolio. Okay, but how does my portfolio vision is connected to my organization vision? Through my strategy, right? It could be like a digitalization or microservices based architecture models or IoT platforms. Something is going to connect your portfolio vision to your enterprise vision, right? So my suggestion is like this. What I wanted you guys to people to do is go to YouTube later, and then you can put mode 1, 2, 3 HCL. Okay, I'm just giving an example. And if you put mode 1, 2, 3 HCL, a person by name C Vijay Kumar, CVK, we generally call him as CVK. CVK used to talk about what is mode 1, 2, 3. Mode 1 means digitalization. Mode 2 means IoT, analytics. Mode 3 means platform and product services. So he is trying to explain how does this particular mode 1, 2, 3, which is the enterprise strategy of a company called HCL, is actually connecting the enterprise vision to the portfolio vision. You watch that video and then come back to this agile onion planning model, then you will understand what do you mean by strategy. Right? Because if you just view the word strategy, different people will interpret it or perceive it in a different manner. So you take a reference from the industry leaders, watch this video on the topic YouTube. You just go to YouTube and type mode 1, 2, 3 HCL. CVK will be explaining what is mode 1, 2, 3, and then you can connect the dots. Okay. Does that make more relevance to you now? Okay, probably you may need to do it, and then you can understand what is that. Okay, probably we can even like I can even tell you now. Mode 1, 2, 3. Let's see. See, I'm just giving an example. Because I am typing mode 1, 2, 3 HCL doesn't mean you will be looking into only this thing. But I'm just giving an example to just give you a spark. It is up to you to produce the fire out of it, right? So if you click on this particular diagram, right, you can understand what do you mean by, because if you go to certification people, they will again and again tell strategy, strategy, strategy. That's okay. Can you tell me a real-time example? Yes, here you have the real-time example. Mode 1 means funding existing core services. Mode 2 means accelerating new services. Mode 3 means building new and reimagining mature products and platforms. So any project or program or any initiative that which the organization is going to do as part of the digital transformation can be logically fitted into any of these things. And this strategy is what I was trying to corroborate it or correlate it back to the strategy which the Agile onion planning model says. Okay, so you take this link also. All right. Okay. Now we will toggle back to some of the other slides because we have time till 12 o'clock. I just want to optimize the time. All right. So, okay. Okay. So yesterday I was taking a webinar on a SAFe implementation, right? How to implement SAFe based on my experience and how the SAFe is going to bring the enterprise level agility. So I just thought to repurpose some of the slides from there here. That is the context. It is showing SAFe here. Okay, generally what are all the challenges if you are executing a project in a agile? Generally what are all the challenges? The one challenge could be we are not having the competency or the capability to do the things, because we are saying that cross-functional team, right? Cross-functional team, but how far the team is really cross-functional, and you cannot make a team self-organized without making the team without making the team cross-functional by and large. So if you want to make the team self-organized, first make the team cross-functional. Automatically, the team will become self-organized. And the people not having the agile mindset or the growth mindset, and sometimes the challenges could be from the technical side, right? Your tools or your DevOps or your engineering practices, like your test-driven development, behavior-driven development. So sometimes we may have some hiccups or glitches or some kind of a setbacks. And sometimes there will be a huge turnaround time from the product owner. Like you may be sending some mail to the product owner asking for a requirement clarity. But by the time the product owner responds to you, a week would have gone. And by the time he is giving, the clock will begin and you need to deliver the code. So these are all the systemic issues. Okay. So your agile coach or your scrum master need to know the problems first. Because unless and until I know the problems, jumping onto solution doesn't make any relevance, right? So these are all some of the varieties of the problems. For example, when I'm doing a WSJF, like I'm trying to do my cost of delay, business value plus time criticality plus risk reduction or opportunity enablement, which is the formula for cost of delay. Okay. Now, how do you define a business value? Sometimes there will be challenges. So you may need to create some connotations for it. Business value 1 means what? Business value 3 means what, right? And having a watchful eye on your enablers or architectural runway and creating readiness for your PI planning. So what we'll do, we can better take this as, instead of PI planning, readiness for your program increment planning. This could be one of the challenge, and creating an integrated coaching plan. Okay, let me explain this with an example. 4 years back, or rather 5 years back, when I was working as a program level coach, what we used to do is that the program coach will be coaching the head of the product management group in terms of the WSJF and the other concepts. Similarly, now the team level coach will be coaching the team level product owner and scrum master and the teams on the WSJF. Now, both the coaching plans should resonate well, because there is no point in doing coaching only to the team when your head of the product management group doesn't even know that what do you mean by prioritization technique. So integrated coaching plan means, does your plan works in a seamless integrated manner across the constructs, portfolio level, program level, team level, right? That is the meaning. Okay, so these are all some of the best practices what we have tried to do. See, what are all the challenges? You can, once you solve the challenges, of course, the challenges can itself become a best practices in the long run, right? Once you are fixing the problems. For example, we started focusing on the extreme programming. We started doing DevOps, and we also hired a technical coach, a solid hands-on technical guy who was helping us to build our CI/CD pipeline, solid principles, technical debt remediation plan, and a code refactoring guideline. So he created a code refactoring guideline and then socialized it to the team, right? And then we also have started having some kind of a reference architecture guideline. Okay, now some people ask me, Agile principle says the architecture should emerge from the team. Yes, but my question back to them is, if not, what to do? Theoretically, as per the Agile principle, the architecture should be emerging from the self-organized teams. Fully agreed. But if the teams are not capable to build an architecture level decisions or architecture level things, then coaching need to be done to the team till that time, right? So these cross-functional, self-organized, going by the books, all these words seem to be very positive adjectives or something like that. But how many teams are really self-organized? How many teams are really cross-functional? So having the principles, having the mindset, all these things are perfectly okay. But where are you currently? Does your team is really capable enough to do emerging architecture decisions? If not, what needs to be done? Probably bring in an architect. It could be a system architect or solution architect or an application architect, depending upon what your need. Conduct some training sessions, conduct some workshops, do some coaching, and then let that architect be with the team for 1 or 2 sprints or few program increments. And once the team really becomes self-organized, cross-functional, then probably the architect can be decoupled from the team. So you need to see the relevance of it and do what is appropriate rather than what is correct, right? So look into the context and then take your decisions. Okay, so mechanism to check whether ART sync-ups happen across multiple trains if you want to go by safe, and how does our agile maturity assessment shows what are all the areas to improve, what is our safe. See, agile maturity assessment is something different from safe implementation maturity, because safe implementation talks more on the business agility sheet, whereas agile maturity is something what we do at a team level, okay, before they do the safe. Okay, and work on the systemic issues. Like for example, there could be delay in the test data, there could be dependencies with some other external vendors or suppliers. Unless and until those dependency aspects are fixed, we cannot have agility in the system, right? So work on the systemic issues to fix it. So before I go to that slide, let me take a pause on the chat. Let me take a look into the chat. Let's go from the beginning. So this particular question I have I have answered to Jiva. Was not aware what to do in a PI planning as well. Okay, so what needs to be done is you may need to create some kind of the readiness for the PI. Work on continuously creating visibility on the backlog. Means your product owner. I actually doesn't know what is the role that you are playing, Arundhati, in your organization. But the point is your product owner should create visibility on the backlog, and the program objective need to be there, and program objective need to be decomposed into team level objectives, right? See, some people say PI objective is getting a decomposed into team level objectives. Yes, theoretically agreed, but practically sometimes your team level objectives also synthesize and then roll up to your PI objective. So my experience is the flow should be bidirectional. PI objective decomposed into team level objectives. But when you create your team level, the moment you create a team level objective, the cone of uncertainty comes down and it will give more evolving thoughts, and you may create a further team level objective. From there, you can synthesize and then roll it up to a PI objective. So practically, it is a bidirectional flow. So you may need to work on the readiness of the PI. Okay, because in some 2 to 3 minutes, that much only I can answer to these questions. Okay, managing marketing with tech is hard, like ensuring they are going hand in hand. Marketing sometimes wants features faster. Okay, so I take here marketing to be the business sponsor or the someone, right? So probably, see, the point is like this. Your marketing team or whosoever also need to understand what do we mean by this minimum viable product. Is there a way to create a minimum viable product to quickly get a proof of concept or a prototyping? So all those aspects should also be checked. Now, one of the pain point what I have seen, whenever we are writing an RFP, these pre-sales guys used to give some commitment to the client that we will deliver the project without understanding the intricate details of the project. So now what happens? The delivery team will be put to pressure. That is where when you are talking about enterprise level coaching need to be done at an enterprise level. So one of the common example which I like to use to explain the importance of coaching everyone is, if a family need to be happy, all the members of the family should contribute to it. If even one person of the family is continuously creating a problem, the entire peace of mind of the family will be put to question, right? Your organization is a family, is a system of systems. Your marketing team, your finance team, your HR team, your legal team, everything need to think about agile way of working. Only your IT department working in an agile based manner is not actually enterprise agility. So long back, I was speaking to Mike Kotmer, who is the CEO of a leading agile consulting group. He was actually using one of the powerful line in one of his videos or in his books. IT teams doing agile is not agility. Okay, let me repeat the line. IT team executing agile projects fundamentally doesn't mean organizational agility. Organizational agility means all the departments of the organization should start thinking in an agile driven way. Your HR people should do performance based, means team based quarterly appraisals rather than an annual cycle. And your finance team should do some quarterly budgeting rather than an annual funding. And your marketing team and pre-sales guys should understand what do you mean by minimum viable product, minimum marketable release. And your finance team should also understand there is something called a dynamic budgeting and a value stream based funding model. Unless and until all the departments come together to work in an agile manner, believe me, your organization is not an agile organization. Okay, as much as if one person in the family is continuously creating problem, and if all other members are trying to maintain a peace and a amicable situation, but still the family is getting disturbed. So probably you can take that as an example to tell the importance of enterprise agility. Okay, like ensuring. Okay, I am a Scrum Master with only one Agile coach for 400. Okay, one Agile coach for 400 member itself is a flaw. Okay. See, the point is like this. If you have a Scrum Master, more than 3 teams, a Scrum Master cannot coach the team. Scrum Master can only facilitate the team, because coaching is more focused than facilitating the meetings or the cadences, right? So we all talk about putting a work in progress limit in a Kanban. Organization should also understand, boss, put a work in progress limit on number of teams that a coach need to coach. If not, the coach will not coach. He will just come in and out of the meetings and can only do facilitation. Okay. Agile planning. Okay, these are all my, with separate QA and dev teams in geographically separate locations. What realistic steps need to be taken to make a team cross-functional? Okay. My perspective is that is the location or the geographical location is a constraint to make a team cross-functional. See, it is very simple, right? What are all the skills? What are all the capabilities or competencies needed for that particular project? Take a list. And who are all the people in the team? Take a list. What is their primary skill, secondary skill? Take a list. Compare and do a match the following. If you still feel there are some skills which is needed by the project, but we are not having people inside the team, go for a training session. Of course, some people ask me, by training session, can we get the skill? No, but training session will at least give the orientation. Training session will expand your avenues of possibilities to think. And without training, it will be very difficult to build the capability on your own, right? So you may need to do a capability grid matrix kind of. Who are all the people? What are all the skills which are presently existing? What are all the capabilities needed for the new project? And you do match the following, and it is quite easy to zero in on the capabilities which are not there in the team and go for a training session. Okay. I understand that saying is easy, but doing is difficult. But in a 1 hour session, I can only tell you guys need to go and then do it, right? Because I cannot do and show it here in a 1 hour session. So you can take thoughts from here, you can think through and then experiment it over there. Okay, when we have Agile coach for a team, how Scrum Master responsibility would differ, as Agile coach can coach PO or do workshop for team? Okay. See, as far as an Agile-driven engagement is considered, we generally used to have a team. We used to have a team charter. I will ping over here. We have something called as a team charter, wherein we will be creating a working agreement, right? In that particular working agreement, we used to mention clearly what are all the responsibilities of a Scrum Master, whereas an Agile coach. So sometimes what will happen, Agile coach will be with the team only for a few months. You cannot expect a coach to be there with the team for a lifetime, right? So when I was working as an Agile coach, I used to have 4 teams, okay? And I used to take some sessions to product owner, some sessions to Scrum Master, and some sessions to the entire team. And after 4 months, the Scrum Master is expected to play the role of both Scrum Master and a team level Agile coach. Okay, so that's the model we are actually operating there. So you also need to look into the operating model and then take a call. Yes, we used to take some design thinking workshop. system thinking workshop, waste identification workshop, and then we also did something like a static systems thinking approach to introduce Kanban. STATIK. You can try to Google it. Just Google static process Kanban. You will get the details. Okay. So we used to take some workshops and expand the avenues of possibilities, expand the horizons of thinking. And after 3 to 4 months, we are expecting the Scrum Master to imbibe those things and then do the continuous coaching to the team. And this particular coach will be deployed or positioned or moved to some other team. Okay. Or rather, in some cases, once the team level agility is been completed, then we will slowly go to the program layer and the portfolio layer. Okay, I took over Agile coach. New team already had a lot of reluctance in taking stories. Okay, Scrum Master, Agile coach have to work on dashboard, but do they need to complete hands-on on Jira? See, these are all very open-ended questions, right? Because these kind of requirements come from the client. Okay, so if the client says the Agile coach should also know Jira from a real-time point of view, there is no point in keep on debating whether it is right or wrong. So, okay, as I have mentioned in the further slides, I was expecting at least the Agile coach to speak the language, but how far the Agile coach will be expected to write some hands-on expertise in the Jira differs from context to context. So when I was working as a team level Agile coach, I used to write a JQL in a Jira, right? I used to write some JQL, put some filter conditions, and then take some particular reports only for a particular sprint or only for a program increment because my client wanted me to do. And I don't think it's that challenging, right? We are not solving any Mensa puzzle or a IIT JEE questions here. I think with some good amount of training and with some good background knowledge, one can pick up Jira within 10 to 15 days. I'm not sure whether that's a very bottleneck. But then we need to be very clear. A Jira admin is someone different from a Jira expectation from an Agile coach. That particular boundary need to be set. We cannot expect an Agile coach to do everything in the Jira. I actually generally tell this example. If Jira is so important, then why are you guys, when I say why, I'm just asking it to the organization recruiters. Why are you guys recruiting an Agile coach? You can recruit a Jira admin and give some training to the Jira admin on the Scrum, Kanban, Agile, and you can deploy that person. So look into what is primary capability needed for the role, what is secondary capability needed for the role. If Jira is everything, then you might as well take a Jira admin and then giving some training on the sprint ceremonies and the Agile way of working, then you deploy that person. So what makes relevance, we need to take a call, right? Some organization have, some organizations have a software craftsmanship, right? If you take Ford as an organization, Ford has a technical software craftsman coaches. If you take JP Morgan, yes, they have some technical coaches. So see, it all depends on you. If you are a technically inclined guy, then you go for a technical coach. But there is no point in beating around the bush on hitting around a dead end road when you know this is not your cup of tea. If you are good in process and if you are wanted to grow in process, then focus on the process coaching. If the technical capability comes to you naturally, then focus on the technical coaching because you need to define your career trajectory, right? Not your manager or your relatives or your neighbors or someone else. Where you want to go, you need to define it. But how to go, you can you can get guidance. But you need to define your career trajectory. Okay. Okay. So I just wanted to spend 5 more minutes on the Agile coaching competency framework because we have picked up this particular topic on varieties, right? One second. Just go to images as usual. See here, I'll just upload this a bit. Okay, I think it should be visible for you guys. You have professional coaching, facilitation, and your teaching, mentoring. 1 minute. Just have some. Okay, you can take this in. So here you have something called the technical mastery, and here you have transformation mastery. This is called the business mastery. Though you can't see it, this particular sector of the diagram is actually business mastery, technical mastery, transformation mastery. If you take me, I typically come from the transformation mastery in terms of how to take some projects or programs from the waterfall mindset to the agile mindset. And some people will also say using project itself is a anti-agile, because some companies are now thinking about project to product mindset. So I typically come from the transformation mastery. And see, I can understand Bitbucket, I can understand the Ansible script, I can understand pom.xml, Jenkins, all those things. But my heart is more towards transformation mastery. So I don't want to spend my time on technical mastery. So you need to define where you want to go. Accordingly, you may need to come up with your career trajectory. Okay, as simple as that. So it's not a question of what is right or wrong, whether it actually suits you or not. Right? No one is interested to know about what is right or wrong. How far it is compatible for you matters. If you are more inclined towards process, then go for transformation mastery. If you are good on coding, building a Jenkins pipeline, you want to play around with the API, REST API services, your microservices, your Docker, Kubernetes container, GitHub, this, that, then go for a technical mastery. As simple as that. Okay. So what is the level of reporting that is required at the management level? So we need to understand what is the purpose of that particular reporting or the dashboard, what we are trying to say. Say, for example, at a program level, if you are using SAFe as a framework, probably program predictability measure report is the level of reporting which is required at a program layer, right? Or else if you are going for the team level, then predictability, productivity, and then your responsiveness, your quality. At the management level also, I still need to understand whether it's, if you're talking at a leadership level, Purnima, because Purnima had asked that question, probably they will not be inclined in your cycle time, lead time, and they will be inclined in like in terms of your CSAT, your employee engagement score, your partner health index. Those kind of metrics are measurements, right? Let me type a few here so that you people can Google it later. Your CSAT, your employee engagement index, probably your partner or vendor health means your business survey results, and your net promoter score, which we call as an NPS number, right? And my suggestion is that you guys need to little bit read on leading indicators versus a lagging indicator. From there, you can have better clarity. Velocity is mostly a lagging indicator. It's never a leading indicator, though it is helpful for planning for the release. Generally, velocity comes on the lagging indicator because it actually talks about the past. Okay, if you can read on leading indicator versus lagging indicator, from there you can pick up the momentum to know further on the reporting. Okay. So before we wrap up this session, I just want to quickly introduce you. Okay, one more thing. No, sorry. I'll just give some of my links. If you people have not subscribed, some of you have already subscribed. You can try to subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook and my Twitter also. I'm currently posting a lot of things on that Twitter too. Okay, so probably you can try to leverage from there also. This is my website. Okay, I'm just pinging it one by one because sometimes if I put it as a paragraph, it becomes difficult to separate to copy paste it. This is my Facebook private group wherein you can place a request. Once I approve it, you can join the group. Okay. This is my LinkedIn. I generally used to write articles or posts, right? Many of you know it. You can take some pointers from there. And if someone want to contact me, you can send me to this particular, you can send a mail to this particular thing, my digital team. Okay, I do have a digital team, so my team will be checking the mail first, and then whatever deemed fit for me to respond, like I will do. You can also have my WhatsApp number. Just putting it. This is my WhatsApp number. If someone want to talk with me and to block some time for any quick queries, feel free to do it, but give me some time to respond to it. This is my Twitter account wherein I started posting new concepts on agile, lean, multiple things. Okay, now I'm just going to take 2 more minutes quickly to introduce you to my website. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, continue to put it in the chat. Okay, so if you go to my website, you can see this video. Okay, you can see this video wherein I'm explaining why I started this mentorship program. This is my customized agile framework used in some of my engagements. And then this is the framework what we have in terms of our capability building, right from the Scrum Master all the way to a executive coach. And these are all some of the levels what I have in my mentorship program. And then you can go through the testimonials offered, given by some of the people who had already completed my mentorship program. And then if you go to blog, just go to blog, and then you have different levels, right? Like level 1, level 2, level 3. What I suggest you is, see, okay, I'm just giving an example. If you wanted to know what is a level 2, you can click on the read more and also watch the video in that, not just the text. Okay, you will be having a video pertaining to the level, and then the entire topics which I am covering in the level 2. And once you see the topics and watch this video, wherein I'm explaining the entire topic word by word, line by line, you can understand and corroborate or correlate the topic with the video. As simple as that. So go through this, and if you want to feel connected, if you feel to get in touch with me for any of your upskilling or your capability building, you are always welcome to do so. Okay, this is something what I wanted to tell. Okay, I think we can wrap up the session. We are almost 1 hour and past 2 minutes. Any quick feedback? How did you people felt? So can I have 1 or 2 lines of feedback? Because Agile talks all about feedback, right? You can just put 1 or 2 lines. Did you learn something new, or rather, did your thoughts got organized in a better manner now? I just wanted some comments from you people. Yes, okay. Gopi says yes. Thanks, Balaji, for your valuable time. I think so. Okay, got it. Okay, so Vivan says it was a great session. Good to know that. As long as I have added value to you people. So one more thing is that probably you can copy paste this particular chat in a notepad for your future reference, so that you can go through that whatever the YouTube links which I have shared, right, for coaching the product owner and the Scrum Master, because those slides are part of my mentorship program, and that's the reason I'm not sharing it outside. And all the slides you can see the logo of my mentorship program, and we have also got the copyrights and formally done. When the people join the mentorship program, they will get the slides and the templates and all those things. But for external people, the outside audience, I think these links should at least help you. If you still feel to connect with me for any real-time queries, you are always welcome. Okay. All right then. Cheers and all the best to you all. Good luck. Bye.